welcome back to the episode of Stories of Horror. Another episode we dive into the mysteries and the unknowns of the world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Without further ado, hit the intro. Hello, and welcome to Stories of Horror Episode 7. I'm your host, the Arsenal DeWayland Butler, co-creator of New Genesis. Last episode, we did a dive into some alien-like stuff, talk about some alien stories, some encounters, some UFO sightings, and we probably do more of that, a lot more of that in the future. But today's episode, as you can see from the title, it's kind of based off of a theory, and based off of us going through history of and like just researching some stuff about the possibility of maybe zombies one day, like that. And of course, there's different types of stuff that people had. Some people think that infection can cause it. People think that maybe something like spiritual can cause it. So we're gonna go through all those realms of possibilities in this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now let's start with the knowledge that we have on top of our heads about zombies. As you know from our favorite books, our favorite movies and games, stuff ranging from Night of the Living Dead, stuff ranging from Resident Evil. I never liked the Resident Evil movies too much though. I feel like they never portrayed the game perfectly, but that's a story for a different time. But also other stuff kind of like Dawn of the Dead, Walking Dead, video games like Dying Light, and etc. There's a lot of different like ways that zombies are portrayed. We have some where an infection happens, an outbreak, and it infects people, and they're like airborne, everybody gets infected, but you don't turn to a zombie unless you like die or something happens. And sometimes we have where if you get bitten, scratched, cut, and the infection get into you and you start turning slowly and you turn into a zombie. Then some of them we have, like some of the older ones, they just rise, corpses rise from the dead, and they come back alive and they come attacking people and stuff. So it's a lot of different ways zombies are portrayed in like pop culture and stuff. But we're gonna go back to some of like the origin of like where it's kind of like originated with maybe it's a myth or maybe it's a legend or the folklore originated from. Now starting back, I believe they said in Greek civilization, they used to believe, like I mentioned before in the past video, I can't think of what civilization it was, but it was Greek. They used to believe that bodies could be reanimated and come back from the dead. So they used to place stones and rocks and big objects on like graves and stuff, and on skeletons and corpses and stuff. They used to place it on them to make sure they won't return back like that. They had the little fear of the stuff coming back. And that's kind of like a thing in like in the older days. We see like them having fears, like we mentioned before on the first episode of Stories of Horror, about the vampires, some diseases that make them look like vampires, and the werewolf stuff, and how they do like the witch hunting, like Salem witch trials and stuff. So all that type of stuff. There's always a fear of something happening, of the unknown that they don't have too much knowledge about coming. But the original folklore around zombies, or the original like the realm that came around, was back in the 17th century in Haiti. In the 17th century, West African slaves were brought in to work on plantations. They believed a zombie represented the horrific plight of slavery. Some of these theories tie from voodoo. Some in the voodoo religion believe zombies were people revived by a voodoo practitioner known as Bokor. Bokor is a voodoo witch for hire who is said to serve the Loa, a god in the voodoo religion, with both hands practicing both good and evil. That's pretty interesting about the Bokor, using both hands, like basically saying like using both sides. If you guys are Star Wars fans like me, and you like read any Star Wars comic books or like see anything about the Great Jedi who are in between, they're not good or bad. They use the good parts of the Force and use the dark parts of the Force together to like keep balance. And that's kind of what the Bokor reminds me of using both sides, like using his voodoo, practicing for good and for evil, like in between, like type like gray like area. And another interesting thing also is the Lazarus syndrome. That's what it's called, Lazarus syndrome. Lazarus syndrome is basically when someone is like in a state of they like dead, like the state like they look like it seems like they're dead, but they maybe awaken like maybe a day later or something like that. Something might happen. Maybe they may awaken like later. Be like, oh, I've seen like instances of people waking up in body bags, like they're still alive. It's called the Lazarus syndrome. They like make the body appear as it's dead. Like there's no like the pulse and stuff like that. That'd be unsensible, but they return back. It's kind of a crazy instance. We've seen and heard that before. And I know some people maybe over exaggerate a little bit, but you never know what they might actually see. But they saying they seen like a bright light, something coming to them or something. They over exaggerate maybe, for the news sake or something, or it could be something they actually did see. But another thing that I found interesting about kind of like the zombies and the undead type stuff is the references that the Bible kind of make. They don't say zombie exact in the Bible or anything like that, but they do make a lot of references to some the undead becoming reanimated. And one of the main ones that stood out to me the most was the Isaiah book, Isaiah 26 chapter, the 19th verse, and that one states, "Thy dead men shall live together, with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing ye that dwell in dust, for thy dew is the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead." Now that verse right there can be interpreted in two different ways. It's saying like as you see what it says, shall body, the dead men shall live together, with my dead body shall they arise. That can maybe mean like, oh, maybe they going to another place, like heaven, like that, to arise. He says should leave, the dead should leave this earth, like that. That can be reference to that, but also can be references something else, because he's saying that my dead body shall walk with the other dead body. So you'll never know like exactly what the full reference is. It can be interpreted different ways and different things, but I thought that was kind of interesting. Of course, on Revelation, like when it's like the end and it's when Jesus return, and you see it's like the undead, and then the good saints will be come back like that, and they'll fight like in a war or something like that. And you'll see a lot like the people be getting reanimated or something like that. So it could be all in that sense. They do mention it here and there, so that's maybe people got the sense of maybe it's some type of truth around it or something that's coming like that. But you never know. You never know, or what actually might be happening. But the last thing I have in this video part is about almost like an affection thing. It basically is still on the theory like realm, and which is the zombie deer disease. The zombie deer disease is a type of prion disease that attacks the proteins in bodies and make them abnormal, and it causes like damage to the brain and to the spinal cords and to all parts of your body, and it can be very fatal. And it been killing a lot of like deer, and they haven't shown any data or reports or anything of any humans getting infected. They haven't shown any like that, but they said that animals such as the main one is kind of similar, almost similar to humans, and monkeys, they can be affected by the disease as well. As you see some of the pictures on the screen, I hear it looks very kind of disturbing. I remember seeing this like the zombie deer disease thing a couple years ago when they was talking about it. I was like, what is that? I thought it was like maybe like somebody making something up like that, something like it was something fake. But when you see it, you're like, whoa, it look crazy, like kind of decaying their body. Now I don't know if they have a sense of like kind of like how animals get rabies and they go out there and like just bite and everything. I don't know if they have that type of sense like that. I haven't seen any of that yet, but I don't know if it can affect humans. I think they said they don't know if it can affect humans or not. It haven't been anything tested, reported it. But if you're doing in the realm of theories and the realm of possibilities, hey, go back to the question of the video. Will a zombie apocalypse happen one day? Say for instance that the disease find a way to transform or something like that, where they start affecting humans and decaying them. But will they make humans go out there and bite other humans? I don't know, like that. Maybe infused with something else. I don't know, but I don't think the possibility of that happening is too high. But you never know what could happen. Of course, we've seen a lot of different infections and different viruses come up in the world. Like we had the surge. It's kind of gone now a little bit. The surge of like the monkeypox, and then you see COVID, and people not knowing don't know the full thing of COVID. Still researching and still trying to learn more about COVID as scientists doing their studies and stuff like that. But it's a lot of different viruses probably around the world, a lot of different things that can maybe arise like that. We see it throughout history and see different things. So you never know what could occur or what could be conjured up or made like that. So guys, always keep your eyes open. But that's really all I got for this video. It's a little short, kind of short, a little bit of light video to get us back in the groove. I'll be here next week on Friday, of course, like every Friday. For now, I might occasionally, sometimes I might miss a Friday, but I'll let you guys know if I do. But I don't plan on missing any Fridays. So tune in to the next episode. And the next episode, I'm gonna give you a hint on the next episode. Let's see, what hint can I give you? The next episode, well, actually, I'm gonna give you two. It's gonna be based off of a creature, a mystical creature that's underwater. It's gonna be either or. It's two ones I'm thinking of. I might want to do a dive into. It's gonna be either or. So you guys stay tuned for that. But that's the end of the video. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on Stories of Horror. Peace out.